Welcome this morning. Welcome. We're going to wait a little bit for some other persons to join us as we start the inaugural show, the candidate corner this morning with Leo and Nyam Daniel. Good morning, Nyam. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Good afternoon.
Oh yes, it's good. I forgot that we passed that midday hour already. Oh my gosh. Nyam, you know something? I've known you for a while, but I don't know if my audience know you very well. So could you tell us a little bit about Nyam before we get into the show?
Sure, definitely. So I am a Miramar resident here. I am of Bajan descent, Barbadian and Dominican descent, and I professionally I'm a journalist. I used to write for the Miami Times for two
Yes.
years, where I did cover Miramar.
You
Um,
covered me too. You covered me a couple of years ago.
Great that you were in and digged up some dirt on you.
Yes, you did.
Then well, right now I write for a publication called the Center Square. It's a news service that's similar to the Associated Press. So
Yes.
other smaller publications republish our work as well. So it's not only on our site, but it goes to different publications. And I cover politics for the state of Georgia and North Carolina. So I've had a very busy year.
Yes, I know you have been.
Yes, I mean it was crazy the last
I
couple.
can't even get a chance to talk to you every now and then. My gosh, you're so busy.
Yes, I am. And on top of that, I am part of a local Caribbean radio station here, WZOP, WZPP, the voice of the Caribbean. I'm a radio personality with them. And I recently launched my own publication called Caribbean America Web. So I'm
Yes.
busy, very busy, very busy. And I have the pleasure as well of being
All right.
a
Great.
mom.
And today, what is our show about today? What are we here for today?
Well, we're here to get to know the candidates that are running for the Myanmar elections in March, just to let everyone know, uh, all the residents and people around. We want to keep you informed. I know a lot of times we don't have time to participate in what's going on around us, but it's very important that you do. And we've seen that in the
Yes.
last couple of months. So as a journalist, obviously my duty is to do that. But because I have a passion and love for politics and being involved in that way, we talked about this months ago to
Yes.
start doing it. So we went ahead and just took the leap this time to do that. So looking
This is
forward.
our inaugural show. I'm happy to be here with you. I know how well versed you are on the politics around town, and I'm sure we're dealing with mostly Miramar candidates, but I'm sure there might be some people who jump in from all over Broward here and there because there may be some other elections going on too, right?
Right, definitely. Yeah, looking forward to seeing this grow and having candidates come on so we can introduce them and get to know them in an authentic way.
Yes, yes. And so today our guest is going to be the incumbent commissioner Maxwell Chambers, right? He's supposed to be here in a few minutes.
Yes, so we are touching bases on the Myanmar elections. Right now, there are 11 candidates that
Ooh,
qualified to run. Yes. And this 4-year terms for the commission. There are 3 incumbents in
yes.
the election, and we will be chatting with Commissioner Maxwell Chambers today. He is running for commission seat 1,
Okay.
and we'll talk more about him later, a little bit, very soon. And then I do want to let everyone know, if you're not from Myanmar, if anyone in Myanmar, just so you know what your community is like. So according to the recent U.S. Census, there is 196 people residing in Myanmar, which we're both residents.
You mean 141,000?
Yes, people.
Oh, you said 1,091. Okay, so
1,000 people, more, a little bit over that, but only 6,800 people voted in the last city election, which was in 2019. However, not everybody in the city is a voting age.
right.
but 65% of the population is a voter.
Right. And as a matter of fact, when I ran back 2 years ago, there were 85,000 registered voters. So I'm not so sure what it is right now, but I'm sure it's going to be up to about 90, 95, 100,000 persons. If I don't know if you have the numbers, but it should be close to 100,000 registered voters, but only 6,800 came out the last time to vote.
Right, right. Very small percentage came out, even though 65% of the population is a voting age, but we don't know if they're of, as you said, I don't have the figures for this year.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
But you see the numbers there, and it's a very small percentage.
And the reasons for the low turnout sometimes it's because it's not a major election, a national election time. In November, if we had elections around about the same time with the general election, national general election, then you would probably see a higher turnout. But people probably aren't focusing on election now, which they should. They should be focusing on election no matter what. But for some reason, they don't come out in March each year, every 2 years when it comes to election time. But tell us about some of the people who are vying for the seats, the different seats. Let's take Maxwell Chambers' seat number 1, for example. Who are the persons who are vying for that seat?
Well, there are 2 people vying for the seat. At this point, I don't want to, I want to be able to dig into them when they're
here. Yes.
A lot of background on that. So when we do have one candidate that's going to come on the 31st,
right?
Leanne Nesbitt.
Yes.
And she is young, younger than most of the people that's on the commission right now. And I've seen that in other as well. In other races, in Winston Barnes' race, there is also a good amount of young people, about 2 or
What number seat is Barnes again? What number seat is Barnes?
Seat number 3.
Seat number 3. Okay, so
right. And, that makes sense because the median age here in Myanmar is 36.1 years old, and I'm in that. I want to put my age. But they're around my age. Doesn't mean anything. So Carrie Ann, she fits that description age-wise. And we also have another candidate that is, closer to the age of the people on the commission. Carrie Ann will be on the 31st.
So Carrie Ann is running against Max for seat 1 also, right? Carrie Ann Nesbitt, right? Okay.
Yes. Okay. She is running, and then we have another candidate who's running, but we have not been able to confirm him yet, but we're working to confirm Chris Caval, who is running also for that seat. Okay. So there are three persons right now that's running for seat number 1. That's Maxwell Chambers, Chris Caval, and Carrie Ann Nesbitt. Right. So he has 2 challengers.
Yes.
Going against him, but he has been in this seat since 2015 and was reelected recently. Obviously, it's 4-year term, so he was elected the last time. I believe that he was filling in before for someone else.
So this is his third. Maxwell this would be his 3rd term. Right. Well, no. He came in for 2 years first. Right. And then this is to say, okay, so this would be his 3rd term. Okay, great. And I hope to hear his perspective on what is going to happen in this election coming up. I'm sure he's going to have something fun to say to us. And then Nesbitt, this is our first time, right?
Yes, it's our first time running here for Myanmar. I'm not sure about Chris. Like I said, got to do some more background on some of the candidates. I knew more about Nesbitt because I had seen her at the polls when I went to vote before, and as well as she requested me on Facebook, so I was able to find out something
more
previously because I am a voter and I would like to be informed. And so more about the makeup of Myanmar. Myanmar is also 53% female.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, we're powerful. And nearly 40% of the population is foreign born.
Oh,
So
is that right? Is that heavy? 40%.
yes, so about 39.8 or something like that. So rounded out to 40% of the population is foreign born.
And can you take it a little bit further? Because I know that people, a lot of my friends brag that this is a Jamaican city. I mean, what does that mean? How many people are here? What's the percentage of Jamaicans living in the city?
Well, unfortunately, I did not. I've seen it before, but for some reason I couldn't retrieve that, and I wasn't too focused on that. But I will say this: that the commission is mostly, it's actually all Jamaican Americans.
That's right. Yes, yes. All five are Jamaicans, actually, Jamaican
But there's
Americans.
people from all over. It is a lot of the foreign bonds are also Hispanic
Yes.
American or Latin American, and there are people from different various islands. Yes, Myanmar does have a heavy Jamaican population, but I've
Yes.
met people from like
I
all.
know, I know. I was just messing with you there. Yeah. we have
So that's a tricky thing. That could be insulting to some people.
Oh, okay. No, I'm just saying that what I hear out there, not what I know. I don't know for sure.
Yeah,
Yes, but
but
we
yes,
have.
I mean, the city it is a multicultural place right now, but obviously there is a heavy Jamaican American population in South Florida.
Let's welcome Commissioner Maxwell Chambers. Good day, Commissioner. How are you? Can you hear us, Commissioner?
Maybe he's connecting his audio.
I think he didn't connect his audio. We're trying to. We're not hearing you, Commissioner. Yeah, we're not hearing you. We're not hearing you. All right. Turn your audio on there, and then okay. So unmute now. Go ahead and unmute. Unmute. Unmute for us. You're still muted.
Okay.
There you are.
That's what happened when you're working too much.
Yes, yes. I know you're beating the ground out there, pavement.
I get a bit exhausted.
How are things going? I know you started out pretty early. How are things going out on the street?
Things is going wonderful. I must tell you, I've been out here this morning since 8:30.
Mm-hmm.
I covered 300 homes.
Oh my gosh, I know how that is. Oh my God. We have Nyam Daniel here. I'm sure you know Nyam. She's been a part of our lives for the longest time. Nyam?
Yes, hi. Good.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Merry
Are you
Christmas.
ready to get into the hot seat?
Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and all the good stuff.
Yep. Same to you.
And I must tell you, and I'm not even campaigning yet. What I'm doing, I have this care package out to my resident, which includes mask,
Yes.
hand sanitizer, my COVID test site information.
Okay.
Also, informational stuff to all other city stuff that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And also a calendar, 2021 calendar. So I have these packages that I'm doing, distributing to my residents. So.
All right, great. That's great.
Warming up for the campaign.
That's great because Nyam has a lot of questions for you. Both of us have a lot of questions for you today.
Yes,
okay.
The candidates to get to know you on an authentic level. And for sure, I know you as a commissioner living here. I've been in Miramar for like 7 years or so. I've always, to be honest, the times I've always seen you in the community. I can be honest about that and say that. I'm a very objective person because I'm a journalist, but I have seen you you're very involved in the community. And I see that, that's one of the things that, you always push for. But if you could tell the audience who Commissioner Chambers is, just tell us who you are in your own words so that we would know.
Well, thank you so much. A lot of people paying attention to me over the years. So you're a very awesome lady. I mean, if I should say, Commissioner Chambers is just one of your ordinary person who believe in people, believe in love, believe in his community. Someone who comes up from a very humble beginning. Um, Started off back in Jamaica with my mother and my mother parents, my grandparents. So um, it's been a tough road. Nothing has been easy. I always have to fight from I was a baby into my mother's womb, and so now it's continue. As according to what my mom had told me from the get go, have been a lot of challenges.
What is it? What is it that's going to make this is your second term? So you came in for 2 years and then you went back again and you ran again and won. What is it that's going to convince the community to put Max Chambers back in office for the third term?
My work speaks for itself over the years. I've been doing this before I got elected. Been serving my community. And one of the things, you have to serve the people before you want to lead them. So for people who know me from back then, they know I was a leader. I was a server, so I've been serving the city of Miramar for a very long, long time. And so people see my work, speak for itself. Um, I have the commitment, you know, and so some, the people see the work, and it's up to the people. It's not a selection. It will be an election. So I know if it was a selection, they would definitely select me. So we'll have.
Commissioner
So
Chambers,
yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
I didn't hear you.
I said, what would you say was your biggest accomplishment as a Miramar commissioner so far?
Wow, it's so many. Um, it's kind of hard to see. Well, one other thing is I've been very consistent.
Mhm.
For what I do. I'm very accessible. I don't know if I could just name one. I'm the most accessible commissioner that there is anywhere here in South Florida in terms of being able to reach, whether it's night or day. And not only that, I'm the hardest working elected official anywhere here in South Florida. So um, I'm a leader. Everyone else have to follow and adapt to what I'm doing. So I think people seen that, and they. I have no doubt that people are watching and this, they're paying attention. So um, just from some of the comments that I hear sometimes. So um, it's so much things. I look at this COVID-19 situation. I've never let up. I've always been on the ground, trying to feed people and being out there. I was not afraid for my safety until even when I got COVID, I was prepared for it. I was building up my immune system, um, doing everything I can every night. So, and just had to gone through the quarantine period, and I'm right back on the road again. So, because when people need you, you got to be there. If you take on a job like this, you have to serve.
Well, I didn't know you had contracted that, so I'm glad that you were able to recover from COVID because some people weren't able to do that. So you have stated what your biggest accomplishment. You said you've been consistent, you've been on the road, you've been out there in the community. What is something that you wish that you would have done different in so far? Because there are critics and there are criticisms. So uh, would you kindly tell us, what you would have done different?
Um, it's kind of hard to put my hand on something because I think in life, things that you've gone through, it's meant to be. Every every year that I've been here, I have to always fighting for something, and it's good. Now I can appreciate learning from the ground up instead of things just handed to me. So it made me stronger. It made me believe in who I am, and it made me believe in the people, believe in my residents, and they're all relying on me, and they trust me and they're confident in me. So
Mhm.
I'm not sure what I could have done differently.
On the corner of Red Road and Miramar Boulevard, could you what is going on out there? A lot of people are asking. They're not so sure exactly what it is, and I'm sure that many other persons who go to meetings probably will know. But there's a lot of construction going up on those on that space, and then on Miramar and Flamingo. Could you tell us? Could you give us an idea what those things are going up?
Yeah, Red Road and Miramar, that property is slated for 600 rental units. It's going to be a real nice exclusive unit, and it's a mixed use. So you're gonna have I believe it's Flanagan restaurant
Mhm.
and also a liquor store adjacent to it because it comes with a package store,
Mhm.
and there's going to be some other commercial space in the front. So everything in the back will be real luxury apartment, self-contained, nice unit with open space, parks, and all that in there where residents could enjoy the area and the walking trail and so forth. So it's going to be a real nice development when it's done. So that's what that is.
And then the other one on Miramar on Flamingo.
The other one and Miramar and Flamingo, it's kind of type the same thing.
Oh.
Uh, I'm not sure if it's 400 or 600 units, but it's also going to have a mixed use. I know for sure there's going to be a Chick-fil-A restaurant that's going to be in there and some other businesses. So that's a good thing for Miramar. And if you look right across the street, that one is almost somewhat completed where the new Publix
Mhm.
just west of the Flamingo.
Mhm.
Well, that one does not have any unit, but it's all commercial space, some really lovely commercial space, and just not after and Flamingo, Miramar Boulevard right there. There's a few other commercial space there for like daycare and so forth, which turns out very, very lovely.
Okay.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, what would you say is the biggest challenge that the city is facing right now?
The biggest challenge right now is it's COVID-19 in terms of loss of revenue. It's a big loss of revenue right now coming in from folks not being able to pay their mortgage, rent, businesses not being able to apply. So all that interlocal taxes agreement that we normally receive from the county and localities, those all kind of on hold. So a lot of funds are dried up, and lucky for us, when I got into office, we had a deficit where we were really behind with our reserve, and I think we only have about $1.2 million, something like that, if my memory serves me correctly. And I insist that we need to have a rainy day fund, and I'm really glad I did because if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't been able to balance the budget this year. So to build up that coffer, to have that money there when we really needed it, that's really speak volume for our resident of Miramar to make sure the services continue to carry out while we go about our business day to day. Because listen, municipality is not like a business is where you have excess funds coming in. Whatever it is that comes in, that's it. There's no more. I mean, if you come up with a company like Microsoft or um, Google or Facebook, where money just continue to generate, fine. But when you're a locality and you rely on funds from um, your tax dollar that goes to the county, and then the county only send back, I believe it's 32 cents from each dollar to the city, then that's you're not gonna have a lot of revenue right there to run your city. So I'm really proud of the fact that I stood up to make sure that we were able to build up the coffer to have funds for rainy day.
Mhm. What What are you doing right now? You say you haven't started your campaigning yet.
Looking forward to kick it off soon. I mean,
What do you intend to do?
some
What do you intend to do on your campaign? How give us some of your tricks of the trade.
well, when I come, I come big. So and a lot of people should know me by now. I have a lot of good support. So I'm this coming week I'm gonna start getting some stuff out. I have things that I already purchased and order to come in to the signs, the yard sign, the road signs, literature, all the collateral gonna be coming in, so we can start getting out. I'm not worried. It's the same thing like last time. You gotta have confidence in your folks, and um, I have no doubt the support is there. I've been really busy with food distribution um, every week, sometimes 3, 4 days a week, which is one of my big things since COVID. I launched the first um, feeding site here in Miramar uh, March 21st, and it's still going on from my church, and then move on to the city facility, and now it turns into the largest food site here in South Florida at the Miramar Regional Park. And beside that, now I'm still doing um, East Miramar, where I have two sites that um, one site where we're doing like 300 cars picking up, another site where we're delivering from every Thursday, another 300 food to the seniors, the people who are shut in, and for those folks who are a little embarrassed to drive out to the park. So we try to accommodate everybody by making sure if we can get it to you, we will get it to you. So um, that's what we're doing day in and day out.
Commissioner, I'm not sure if I missed the number that's in the rainy fund right now. What is
I didn't hear you.
did I miss? I think you kind of said the number fast that's in the rainy fund right now. How much money is in Myanmar's rainy fund right now?
Oh, you mean the what is it? There's a coffer or reserve funds
Hmm.
for the city of Miramar. What it is, you have to have reserve
Right.
for when you have issues that you can
Right.
step up and continue to have the city operate efficiently. You can still pay your police, you can pay your fire, you can pay your employees, you can keep the lights on and so forth, and you can keep the water coming into the homes. All of that. We have two drinking water facility. They operate 24 hours around the clock. It's 3 shifts. We have a recycled water plant where all the wastewater goes back to where it's a 24-hour operation. So you have to have funds in your reserve to operate. If not, um, you don't know where the money coming from.
But how
And
much is in there is the question.
She was
uh,
asking how much money in there.
there, I'm not sure what's left now because we have to balance the budget, but I could get that numbers for you.
What other ways are the commissioners, the city, or the city manager looking to increase revenue? Because COVID right now is not something that's gonna um, end tomorrow, and we still have to survive, and we still have to provide those services for the taxpayers in this community. So, what other ways do you plan to raise the revenue?
Well, we're looking at maybe no hiring. We're cutting back on different things. So the city manager is doing everything he can. I'm pretty sure once he come up with a comprehensive plan, he's going to bring it to the commission, and I'm sure we're going to take a look at it and see if it's suitable, and we will approve if if needed. So I'm pretty sure staff is doing all they can to bring a comprehensive plan to us.
What are your priorities as far as making sure that when it comes to having to basically budget, what are your priorities you want to make sure that we're able to secure and that will remain fully funded?
When it comes to the budget, it's making sure that we don't create any new taxes,
Okay.
um, and making sure that the city stays solvent. We maintain that level of quality that we're known to. The parks, um, the quality of water, uh, maintain some of our roads because the city owns some roads and the county owns some are state. Just the basic service, our code building department and so forth. Right now, we are not shutting off any water for our residents and for those residents who cannot afford to pay, they stayed on. So we even backing up on revenue there, but so far we've been able to continue to provide a level of service to our residents, and we're gonna get through it together because um, we are looking at all options to make sure things flow. We have not laid off any employees, and everyone is still getting paid. So I think we're doing really really good compared to some other cities who are really lagging behind.
Um,
And
Commissioner, what about COVID vaccine? Has it made it to Miramar yet, and how is it being distributed or delivered to the residents?
well, you notice I'm smiling, right? Because my vaccine guy just called me maybe an hour ago, and we have been approved. We have been approved for vaccine. Um,
You personally or the city?
Not the city. I have a
Oh,
private person that I'm working through,
I see.
and we've been working together with the COVID testing and now the vaccine.
Okay.
I set up a saliva COVID test site at the Miramar Regional, which I worked on, and I got and brought it here.
Mhm.
So resident on the western portion of the city can take a COVID test at Miramar Regional Park. They don't have to drive all the way west, all the way east. I'm sorry, excuse me, and they don't have to drive north to Pembroke Pines or south to Miami Gardens. So we do have a test site, to my credit, that I brought to Miramar Regional Park. So, and that's a saliva test, which is not a nasal swab. So we just got approved now for um, COVID for vaccine, and I think we're going to be doing about 35,000. We got approved right now, as of now, for 35,000 vaccine a week. So, and
So
this is for seniors. We're going to start off with seniors. You got to be 65 and older. My residents are 65 and older.
I think
I'm going to put it out.
I think Nyam will qualify there, right?
No,
I'm not.
she's she's 64 and a half.
You know what?
So I just want to say I wasn't gonna announce it yet, but please don't start calling my office until Wednesday. We got to have some more things to be hammered out tomorrow and Tuesday, and to have a date that we're gonna be able to start doing it for our residents. So yeah, I was very pleased when I got the phone call today. So I'm looking for more sites that we can be able to distribute the vaccine. Of course, we're going to need parking space, because once you get the vaccine, you have to park for like 15 minutes before you're allowed to leave. So I'm just kind of excited, because since I'm being on the ground, I have some seniors who are asking. They don't want to wait in line, and they don't want to. They call in that number, and it's just a hell to deal with. So
Mhm.
uh, with me getting approved, then we can serve our seniors a little better and more efficient and more faster.
Mhm.
Understood. So, back to COVID, is the city expecting to receive any more aid from the state? And how much aid have you received in the past from the state, if anything?
We hope so. I mean, it's got to come from the federal government and come to the state and then come down to the locality.
Mhm.
I know we didn't wait for the aid. We went ahead and took money from our reserve, and we were able to gave residents who were affected by the COVID to the loss of jobs up to $10,000 to pay their mortgage and utility. And we did the same thing for people who are renting. We think we did up to 7,000. And for businesses, we were the same thing. We were able to keep our small business afloat by uh, giving them uh, that much money to pay the rent and pay the utility. And in addition to that, some of them gotten the PPE and the SB and so forth. So we didn't wait. We did it early, because this is like a domino effect. If we start losing all our renters, um, defaulting on their rent,
Losing tax revenues, right?
right, and the businesses and so forth. So we have to minimize that. We know we're going to have some, so we have to minimize that. And also, one other thing though that we're having difficulty with at the time that we really have to work through was all these small businesses. A lot of them did not have all their paperwork together. Their BTR, they didn't have the necessary paperwork from the county, so we had to help them and work with them to make sure they get those things and wait for them to get them, because with the way the loan was, you have to have all you
Your
ducks line
ducks
up.
in a row, right?
Yeah,
Your ducks in a row.
exactly. In order to get your.
Question for you, Commissioner. In your going around and coming around, whatever. Are you seeing any businesses that failed, closed because of COVID. They're no longer in existence. What has the city done? What is the city doing to help them? To aside from the COVID help, what you just spoke about, are you in touch with some of these guys if they have left and if they've closed their business, and what are they doing? Tell us, because those are, if someone closed their business, that means they've gone home to sit down, and it's going to take them some time to get jobs and all that. Has there been any closures?
What I've seen is there was some smaller businesses who needed to take advantage of the COVID situation to get out of their lease, where they were having like a 5-year lease or a 6-year, whatever long lease they have, and they were able to work something out with their landlord,
Mhm.
and were able to, downsize or move to another location or something like that, and they were able to get out of their lease. So that was a good thing for some of those businesses, especially, hairdressers, uh, people that do nails and pedicure and stuff like that. That got me hit hard,
Okay.
and you know, so daycare and so forth. But overall, most of people are doing very well. There's some of the larger businesses, what they do, they have a lot of folks working from home. So
Mhm.
their commercial space are sitting there. I just run into one of my residents who have about 40,000 square foot space here in Miramar, and half of it is everybody's working from home.
Okay.
So I've had friends who take the opportunity where the lease was expired and they were able to move their office into their house. So it's not one size fit all. Everybody so far are doing what's best for them,
Okay.
with their businesses. But so far, my personal barbershop has been back up and running, and
You mean our personal barbershop, right?
our personal barbershop. I'm a little late sometimes trying to get them the mask that they need to give to their customer. But they do call me, and I do try to run over there and give them a 50 or 100 masks here and there. So, because people do show up sometime without a mask, and
Yes.
the last thing you want to do is to turn someone away.
Yeah.
And and by the way, we do have masks for all the businesses in Myanmar. They just have to call the city, and gets it. They can appointment, come and pick it up, and it's all available for all businesses in Myanmar.
Thank you. So I do have to ask. So there is news reports about the city being sued, and 3 women have alleged misconduct on your part, and you've denied these allegations. And the city has those settled 2 lawsuits in relation to them. What is what is the city's policy on these type of allegations, and how do you think it was handled?
Well, I'm glad you asked the question. I'm going to kind of explain the situation here, and I hope that any question people can call me and I could kind of explain to them what happened. Um, Anyone can make an allegation, and I think this is something from what happened to me is there's a former commissioner wanted me to vote for a city manager that she wanted to be the city manager, and I didn't. And their way of punishing me is to accuse me of these allegations, which is unfounded. And one of the lady who it's just one that filed a lawsuit, but it's not a lawsuit against me. She was demoted from her job, as I think she was making $190,000 a year, and she was demoted to 120 and moved to another department. Now somehow she decided to throw me in there, that I asked her for a hug or whatever, which was entirely untruth. But if you look at the court record, what she sued for is for her salary and for her that she was treated differently from her counterpart, which is the other assistant to the manager, and
Okay.
her male counterpart.
Okay.
So, and what she said in her brief is that when she got to the city, she was trying to put things in place that she think would protect the city in terms of policies and finance and so forth. And because of what she was trying to do, I guess it was go against the grain in her department, because the city manager department is totally different from the commissioner department. We are strictly legislative. and the city manager runs the city on a day-to-day basis. So um, it didn't have nothing to do with me. What she filed a lawsuit for, no one had sued me. It didn't. I didn't do anything. I wasn't found to do anything wrong. So she was basically trying to get her salary, and which she stayed on. They have her stayed on until she was able to retire, collect her retirement, collect her money. She and her attorney. I think it was 100, and I'm not sure what it is, and then move on. So, but that have nothing to do with it. What this is just a smear campaign, just to smear me. But if you look at the record, you'll see that it had nothing to do with me. Now I have an assistant who had hired a white lady, worked for me for a little while, and she went to the EEOC office, the Equal Employment Office, and said I let her go because she was white. Now this lady was white when I hired her, and she's still white today. Okay, so I don't understand. There was two black ladies that worked for me before her, and they also let go. So does they have a right to sue? Maybe they should, because they could sue that they were black and I let them go because they're black. So that I'm not sure where the sexual harassment comes in, what they're running on Channel 10, and my opponents are out there running with. But if you look at the record, it will show you that nothing like that. Anybody can file allegation, and it's a smear campaign. That's pretty much what it is. And there's more to it than this. But I will get into it at another time.
Quick question for you. You're based on the build up to the program today. There were you have two other challenges to the seat number one, and I don't know if you've taken the time to know who they are. Do you have a plan to come out ahead?
I mean, they're out. They're they challenged me, and I know where a lot of it's coming from. They're all one team. Um, just for the record, they're all working together. Um, they have someone who had got them together trying to get me out, and I'm never afraid of any challenges, and it's I'm gonna do my job. I'm gonna do my work. I'm never afraid to win. I'm never afraid to lose. So it's what it is, you know.
Do I hear you saying, "Bring it on, bring it on"?
Yeah, bring it on. I mean, me. I'm gonna do my thing. I mean, at the end of the day, the people got to decide. I mean, if they want me, fine. If they don't want me, then I move on to something else. I got my skill. I got my trade. No one can take that away from me. So, I got my life. I got my family. I got my friends. I got my community. So, it is what it is, man. You can't live your life be afraid. I'm one public servant who are never afraid of anything. You know, you know, I take it one day at a time. My faith is in my community, my faith in God. So like I said, um, I've been having challenges all my life, and it's not gonna end now. So um, you know, I'm ready. Mm.
Well, I don't have any further questions at this time. Thank you so much.
All right. Yeah.
But if I may say, if anyone have any question about what they're hearing and wanting a clarification, I'll gladly send it to them. They could call me. My personal cell phone, 954-839-4168. They could email me at chambers.max45@gmail.com. Like I said, it's a smear campaign, and people like to muddy up and try to think that's the way to win, without coming with their substances.
But just one last question. Your commitment, the purpose, the reason why you started your journey to become a elected public servant, right? Does that still remain was it was when it 2014, 2015 when you started running? You still have that same commitment? Has it changed?
It had never changed. And the people asked me, that was one thing they asked me not to change. Folks who could not contribute to my campaign, seniors, on a daily basis, you have at least 1,000 people praying for me. And you can ask them. You just got to talk to people. I think I've improved in terms of staying the same. I'm not here to get corrupt. I'm not here to rip off the city. There's no hidden agenda. I'm here to serve. I love what I'm doing. This is in my blood. This is from the grown up, from my grandparents to my mother. This is what my family does. We work, we take care of people, we help each other. I grew up in a community where we look out for each other. That's all I see in my home. People come to get food and clothes and eat and work and so forth. So I'm not gonna change. I just can't, even if I try. You know.
Well, this has been really a great opportunity for us to sit down and talk with you one on one. I think people have gotten a chance to see who you are and your heart, and and your dedication and commitment to the city of Miramar. And I want to thank you. I'm sure Nyam wants to say that first. Anyway, go ahead, Nyam.
And if I must say, if you don't mind, for someone like me to come from the deep country in Jamaica and Clarendon, in the hills, and come here to a single mother, working hard. Myself started working off making cabinets, making $3.35 an hour. Someone who don't have high academic, and to have my children, look at my children, I'm doing well. My daughter in the military, my son, my kids, they all doing great. For my accomplishment, and it might look like it's not much, but when I look back of all that I'm going through, I'm grateful. I've gotten a long way, and I contribute that to my family, my brothers, my grown up, my community, my village that's raised me, the churches, and it's just I'm very humble and I'm very grateful.
That's it. That's really nice. You're muted. You're muted, Nyam. You're muted.
No, I am guilty of this. And I'm not 64 plus. But nonetheless, so much, actually, Vice Mayor. We've been addressing you wrong, but for taking this opportunity to speak to us, to speak to your community, and we'll continue doing this. He is running to be reelected for Commission Seat 1, March the 9th. So if you're in the city of Myanmar, if you live here, go ahead and execute your right to vote. As we said, voter turnout was low the last election, but we've seen that, elections are important. We've really seen that in the last couple of months. But I will tell you this, the local election is more important than the national election because it directly impacts you. It impacts your property taxes and the services that you receive. So it's very important that you get to know the candidates and you exercise that right no matter who you vote for.
Max, when I hear him out on the street and hear people talk about him, they call him the People's Commissioner. Am I right there? The People's.
Yeah, and my slogan, I'm always here for you. So.
Right, great. Thank you so much.
And I just want to tell the people that believe none of what you hear and half of what you see.
Okay.
And I'm here for you. If you can reach me, I can clarify anything that you hear. I give it to you in writing. I give it to you in print. Like I said, anyone can make allegation. Anyone can attach their picture or their name to something, but doing the work is another thing.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Vice Mayor Maxwell Chambers. We've been giving you the wrong title all day. You are actually Vice Mayor Maxwell Chambers. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, man. And stop competing with me with the smile, bro. You got a nice one.
Right, I'll try. I'll try. All right, have a nice day, my friend.
Brother. Thank you so much.
Great.
Good.
Oh, Nyam, that was great. You're still muted. Great. Thank you so much. Nyam, that was a great interview. I think most persons have gotten a chance to meet Maxwell Chambers. Vice Mayor Maxwell Chambers. What do you think?
Well, I would just leave my opinion to the side. Definitely would like to know more details about, the quote unquote smear campaign, and well, not necessarily the smear campaign, but who is joining together to
Yes.
get him out. But nonetheless, at the end of the day, everyone does have their civic duty, and they have the civic right to go ahead and run for office. So we'll look. I look forward to see how it's going. As I've said, these candidates that are running against him are new candidates, so we have to get to know them. But I have to be honest and say that I have seen him numerous times in the community, on my block, down this, like all the time.
Everywhere. He's like buzzing around all the time. He really is.
And one other person that's on the commission that I've seen that I would always see in the community.
Yes.
And I'm someone, I live,
out in the boonies, right?
Yeah, I live on the east side, close to Island Drive. So, not everybody wants to come over here. There is that divide, which there was a question I had on that, but I actually forgot. But while we were speaking, it came up. But at the end of the day, I do respect him for that. I can say that. I can say that, the things that he said that he's doing, I've seen him do it.
That's exactly right.
I don't know the details of the allegations, any allegations he has made today as far as people.
And who's going to know the details anyway? It's one person against.
No one knows, right? It's only going to be what the claims are in the lawsuit and what's being said. But I'm very pleased that he was able to be transparent about it. He could have just said, "Oh, I don't want to speak about that." So I do value that as well.
He's right when you say that anybody can be sued, and anybody can make up anything and cause a lawsuit. It's just one of those things, right?
Yes, the lawsuit was, lawsuits might be a little trigger for you because that was one of the things that you were facing, but we're not going to bring back up.
Okay, yes. Once you're a businessman or a politician or whatever, you are open for that kind of thing. So I'm not even worried about that. That's, it's how he deals with it is another thing, right?
But the thing is, to be honest with you, the court of public opinion is very, very, very strong, has a lot of power. And, even if the allegations aren't true, and I want to be honest, is that, some people are still going to believe it. Like a lot of times when things like this happen, they don't ever you hear about the allegations, but you don't hear about the end result, about it being resolved or not.
Public opinion or public decisions sometimes are not true. It's not the right decision, and we make a lot of error as a general public, putting people on practice for nothing at all, and people who are not supposed to be there, you put them in place. I mean, we could look at what happened this week. Was that an error? Are we coming out of a very an error rather than an error? Public doesn't always make the right choice, and that's why we have the judicial system and so forth.
Right, and that's fine. But that's fine. And to be human, obviously there is going to be error involved when you're talking about human beings. But when you're talking about, yes, the public opinion may not always be right. Obviously, it's opinion. Its opinion is never always going to be right.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, it's your opinion that impacts you at the poll.
So, absolutely, and you're right, and that's what gets people into office. It's the opinion and how people, what they read, what they see, what they hear, what they feel, and what draws their emotions. So that's what gets people out at the poll. And thank you so much for this day. It's really nice. I'm sure we're gonna have we have a lot more to come before March rolls around. It's March 9th is the election, right?
Yes, March 9th is the election. Yes.
Right.
So, some of the candidates, if you're out there, check your email, your phone. We really love to have you so you can speak to your community. And this is our platform.
All right. Thanks, Vice Mayor Maxwell Chambers again for today, and we'll look forward to having another guest next week, Sunday at 1 p.m. right here on Facebook. It's doing pretty well. We gotta get back in there and answer some of your questions, but we'll get there. Thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye.